In this video, I'm going to show you my 11-year forever Minecraft world. If you're not familiar with this world, I'm Dr. Jankovic, and this is the world of Rosethorn. This is my main world. I've had it for a very long time. It's my main world that I stream from and interact with viewers with. I haven't made a YouTube video in a while, but this is the world tour. My plan for today is starting here at the tower because this is where it all started, and then we're gonna try to go in chronological order to get the history behind everything. And also want to clear one thing up real quick. If we take a quick peek at the map here, you'll see this crazy square in the middle. This world was actually created on a PlayStation 3, eventually transferred to a PlayStation 4, eventually transferred to a Bedrock realm, which it was downloaded as a single-player world and eventually converted into Java. That's the thing I have to explain the most, to be honest, because back here, you see all these chunk airs, random biomes. It's kind of a mess, and there's a bit of world corruption. We'll get to that, but it's a very charming world, in my opinion. And where I'm standing right now looks totally irrelevant, just a flat, deep slate wall with some sea lanterns across it. But if I turn my camera around, it is pure terror. It's, this is what happens when you take a world, drag it through PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, Bedrock, and then back into Java over 11 years' time. You get this massive space of void chunks where there is no bedrock. If I were to fall out of the world, I would lose everything, just like the end dimension. The ceiling is bedrock, and the bedrock is at Y0, like it really shouldn't be with the upgrade, but the chunks next to it got a proper upgrade at the 1.18 update. So down here, I really want to build an end dimension in the overworld. I think that would be a nice thing to do down here, especially since these are void chunks anyway. It would just be a really, really cool project. I've measured these, and it's about 1,000 by 1,000 space, so it's a massive space. First things first, though, this is the tower. It's referred to as the survival tower. This is the first thing I built in Minecraft beyond like a little dirt hut or so. The idea was it was supposed to be a safe tower. You can see the millions of torches I placed on it. I didn't understand how spawning mechanics worked, and I thought any kind of shadow, even if it was on a vertical wall, would spawn monsters. So I spammed torches everywhere. It's kind of the look of the world, so I left them here. And through the conversions, it's missing a few blocks, but this is what it looks like. The reason it was called the Survival Tower is because I was planning on having a basement with everything I needed. A floor for crops, a floor for livestock, a floor for a tree farm even, and I managed to do that. However, through the years, I didn't really need that, and I wanted to expand the world beyond spawn. I was kind of scared to explore out back in the day, so it's upgraded now. This is my main storage area. As you can see, we have a lot of friends here in the form of armor stands. You can actually grab one of these for 10,000 channel points on my Twitch streams, twitch.tv/Dr. Jankovic. Make sure you go follow me there. But the upper level here is where I keep everyone's diamond blocks. It's a Twitch chat game where you can win diamond blocks in my world, and I have a lot of them. I currently owe 446 diamond blocks, and I've paid out over 1,070 diamond blocks. And we'll get to how I farm those in just a minute. But up here is my top level storage. It's for things like crops, ores, resources, things that I'm not gonna have hundreds of shulkers of. Also an equipment wall, a brewing barrel. This storage isn't done just yet. I'm still tweaking a few things. I even have light storage up here. It's just things I'm not going to have multiple shulkers of. Going down to the next storage, this is my old tree farm. I used to grow birch trees down here. I really meant it when I said I lived in basements and everything I had was down here. But this is where I keep unbelievable storage of things. I'm working on my dirt collection. I've got quite a few boxes of this, but where it really shines is the over 400 boxes of netherrack that I have. This might just be my opinion, but I personally think that you should hoard everything because you never know when you might need something. Going down another level, this is my main storage. This is a little bit more designed. I made a crazy glass design on the ceiling, and a crazy design on the floor, which is a little chaotic, but it is symmetrical. I've got a wall for wood, dyed products. Over here needs a little bit of tweaking, but this is going to be my nature block wall. And then over here is stones and other building blocks. And of course, we have even more friends down here at this level. Moving right along, I want to talk about this wall out here. The idea of the survival tower also was to start from the tower and expand to the outer bounds of the world. Of course, back in the day, I didn't really realize how long that would actually take. But if we look at the map here, the original idea was to start with the survival tower, expand everything out to these outer edges. Obviously, you can see how far I got with just this tower here, but that was the idea. So the tower came up, this walking area came up, this path around the tower came up, and then I put this wall here. I was hoping to, I think the idea was if there was a creeper, I could lead it into the water, deal with the creeper, and if it exploded, it wouldn't hurt anything. Oh, the crazy ideas you have as a young Minecraft player. I also want to mention the first 7 years of this world, I never found a diamond. All this was made with stone tools. I didn't have access to the nether. It was all a process. The birch trees I grew in the basement were made into charcoal, which was used to smelt cobblestone. It was a real process. And of course, back in the PlayStation days, you can have split screen. So I let my brother build a hut here. He was very proud of it because he found a cave, and I have left it original ever since. And as a bonus, at the bottom of the staircase is my first tree farm. For some reason, I surrounded it with glass, and it was just this weird hill over to the side. And just to keep everything organized, up until this point, I hadn't converted the world just yet. But from here on out, it's pretty much everything built in Java Edition. Starting with this iron farm, I believe. We've got a couple more friends here. But I wanted to make a little blacksmithy and also have an iron shop in here. So you walk in and you have all your chests of iron. There's a very small iron farm below here, designed by Grandma Mommy, and it works well enough. I do have a farming district that I may build an upgraded iron farm, but for now, this one has been providing very well. From there, I wanted to develop this area and have a mob farm in the shape of a medieval lighthouse. I'm actually looking to decommission this because I've got a better mob farm at my farming district, but I never really upgraded the storage system. It's just kind of 3 double chests down here. And as you can hear, it is actually still working. I was really interested in learning organic building, so I made this signal fire here for the top of the lighthouse. And for the AFK spot, I wanted to get really creative, and I made a little cloud up here that you can stand inside of to load the mob farm. So I'm going to go ahead and show everything at spawn, even though it's not quite chronological, but hopefully in just a minute you'll understand what everything means. Starting with this build right here, this is a build that I did for 600 follows on Twitch, and the reason it looks like it does is because I developed a little viewer redeem system where you could earn enough channel points on Twitch and earn yourself your own custom shulker. So because that kind of kicked off my channel, I wanted to build a shulker, a very expensive shulker, mind you, up on a pedestal overlooking the entire world. One reason I really love this build is because it's right next to the tower. This is the first thing I built, and you can see how far my building skill has come. I don't really like to brag on myself, but, you know, it's good to appreciate when you've improved on something. And you know what? From here is a couple of great honorable mentions. The Old Moss Farm and Old Concrete Farm. I need to take those down. And even an Old Mangrove Farm. I need to take all 3 of those down, but they worked for me for quite a while. And moving on to these weird bricks on the wall, I participated in a charity event back in June of 2024 called Guild Rush 2024. And it was originally a way to honor the people who donated money to Gamers Outreach. I would give them a brick on the wall here. Some were quite expensive, like this lodestone one here. This was 27 ingots of netherite. But I knew there wouldn't be so many unique donators because it was 1 brick per person. So after the event was done, I turned it into a channel point redeem, and we have a lot of really creative bricks here. And now for the big reveal. You've seen this really messy, giant black box in the middle of the world here, and I haven't said one thing about it. This is a very recent project that I started. It's gonna be my museum where I keep things that are very important to the world. So far, we just have the dragon egg here. This is gonna be a giant rose blossoming from this box up into the sky here, and it'll be a nice addition to the tower, the 600 follow build, and this will be a giant rose. Very fitting for a world named Rosethorn, right? But this is currently ongoing, so if you want to see me building this, mainly on the weekends, be sure to go follow my Twitch. Also, before we brush past it, I wanted to get you guys a better view of just how hard this border is between the old world and new world. It just sliced everything off. There's a ton of chunk errors and craziness going on, but that is why I love this world. We're making this world amazing. So this is everything at spawn. You see everything original. You see my current projects here to kind of make the world seem a bit fuller. I think it's appropriate to go look at the shulker boxes now, even though that's still not in chronological order, so you can kind of get an idea of what this world revolves around these days. So where we're at now is the overworld shulker district. We're greeted by the Phyllis, and these are the giant shulkers that I was mentioning earlier. The way it works is on Twitch, you have to have an armor stand in the world first, but then you can save up a ton more channel points and earn your giant shulker in the world. Then you can pick a color, and then you can buy your border around the shulker, and you can really customize it. It's a really fun game in my opinion. Even though this is the biggest district, or the most established, there are 2 others in the other dimensions. And as you can see, this is really filling up quick. The first thing I want to mention is this mushroom in the middle of the district. This was the first thing I built here. I wanted to really make an impact and make sure that this place had a good entrance to come out to once you got to the shulker district. And I think it's a really nice touch. Even though the path doesn't really go with the endstone theme, I'm not really sure why that mushroom had to be there. I guess it was because of a mushroom island, but I think it turned out really well. And by the way, this was all freehand, so I didn't build this from a schematic or anything. I won't bore you with telling you exactly whose shulker's whose. We'll kind of touch on the ones that have been built in and just give you an idea of things people do with these. And we'll go from left to right. So over here, this is Jamie 1967. And he has a pond in the middle of his shulker. It looks really nice. And this was one of the early builds. You'll see in future boxes, I improve my methods a bit. To the right of this box, we have Dan the Noodle Man. He just wanted his face on the floor, and I think that's hilarious. To the right of this box is C-Dubs 11. And he has a house from Crash Bandicoot. I forget exactly which characters this house is, but inside he's got his cat Pico on a throne, and it's amazing. And we'll actually save this one for last. This is Lark 2 Bird, and he's kind of extravagant. But next to Lark is Black Betty. She has a fountain with some azalea trees. Very, very pretty. Close to Betty is Mr. Gold. You know who Mr. Gold is if you're a viewer of this channel. He's got his camel Cletus here with a nice house that we built for him. And like I mentioned earlier, this world revolves around winning diamond blocks. So here is Mr. Gold's diamond block stash. Looks very amazing. Hope Lightning has some lightning strikes on her shulker, which look pretty cool. And now for Lark's. Now Lark, he likes plants a lot. He works with plants in real life, I believe. And he wanted a botanical garden. Even though the circle in the middle is off center because I'm a huge dingus, I've had to recenter the fountain here. But plenty of plants, very pretty. I love the copper grates in this build. And he's actually gone so far to have a second shulker renovation. I owe him a ton of work, let me tell you. But down here is a currently ongoing project, almost finished. It is a grow room where you would grow like a bunch of plants and things, kind of a plant factory. And I don't work with plants, so I didn't know what one of these would look like, but I imagined very industrial, multiple floors, lots of space to grow a ton of things. Currently, nobody has upgraded their in-ship, but that is an option. Once you get enough money for a shulker renovation, you can upgrade your in-ship a little bit. But for now, it's kind of cool just to have a fleet of these sitting around. And next on the list while we're walking over here is the Nether Hub. This is a very big, currently ongoing project. And back in the day, I had a very, very janky Nether Hub. And it wasn't safe at all. And I wanted to make something pretty unique. So I decided to kind of make a perimeter down here where you walk above people's shulkers. So these 4 down here are real viewer shulkers. And it looks amazing. Currently, there's no shulker renovation work. Otherwise, I would go give you a tour, but this is what it looks like currently. Hello, Bambi. And that part I mentioned about being unique, this world is called Rosethorn, so I don't know if you can see it very well here. I've still got some work to do on the ceiling so I can give people a proper look at this, but the floor of the Nether Hub is 4 pixel art roses, all freehand, by the way. I didn't look it up. And it's made out of glass so you can see through it. If I load up the map here, you can see it even better. Those 4 roses in each quarter. It looks amazing. This is one of my favorite things about this world so far. I've got 2 tunnels currently under construction or pending construction. But on the other side of things here, I stuck to a single design but just changed the colors. I've got my cyan tunnel here with a very grand entrance. I really like big hallways in the Nether. And this is the south tunnel with the purple. It looks amazing. At this point, I think it's going to be really organized if we just take 1 tunnel at a time. And since we're on the topic of shulker districts, I think it would be fair play to go ahead and show you the tunnel with the end dimension on it. So this is the north tunnel, currently one of the ones that I need to actually build. And going in order, your first stop is going to be the villager area. So this is the villager area. I've got my janky villager breeder here. And on the left, this is supposed to be a giant hobbit home, which I never quite finished, and it's been over a year now, so I really need to get on that. But when you walk in here, I believe there's 192 spaces for villagers. I've got them pretty diverse here. I'm cleaning up my librarians now, which is why it's kind of a mess. But over here, I've got a few villagers I can trade iron to for emeralds. The clerics, stonemasons, fishermen, and farmers for golden carrots. Once this is done, it's going to be a really nice villager hall. The next stop is going to be the Guild Rush 2024 area. We talked about that a little bit earlier. So in addition to bricks in my world, if you donated enough, you got some builds and other things in the world, and I still have a couple to finish. So here's how it's looking so far. On the left, you have Jamie's Lookout Tower house. It looks really nice. I like this. Next to this, we have Lark's Copper Shop, which inside we actually left him a surprise. Since Lark2Bird is Twitch's favorite burb, we decided to build him a nice cozy little nest for him to sleep in. Next to this is Sarah's Finn's Guild Hall, which looks absolutely amazing. Very grand. And I will say it took me quite a while to build, even though I had a schematic. Also, as a side note, I try not to use Lightmatica for anything but viewer redeems, because when someone wants something specific, it's just a lot easier to load up a schematic rather than trying to build it from a screenshot or something. But for most of everything I build in this world, I will always freehand. I just like building that way. Moving along, though, this is Mr. Gold's Bank Vault, and I really had a lot of fun with this project. It's got a crazy looking door, and I wanted it to have a bit of a story here. So over here, it's got a blasted outside of the wall, which is a little tunnel inside the vault. And of course, once you do a bank robbery, you have to grab and run. So a few scraps of gold left behind. That is the only thing that was left behind. And I completely ignored the cherry tree in the middle of this. I believe this was Black Betty's tree that she requested, and of course we've got a couple of friends enjoying the view beside it. And finally, the next stop is the end dimension. This is the portal to the stronghold. Hopping into the end, this is where special stuff happens. So another part of my Twitch channel is check-ins. Once you get 25 check-ins, meaning you have to be there for 25 streams and hit the button to check in, you will earn a plot in my end dimension. It looks something like this. And fair warning, there is a rework coming very, very soon to this system, and it might even be out by the time this video is out, so just be mindful of that. But the way the process currently works is every 25 check-ins, you get 8 blocks of an upgraded resource block. So you go from coal to iron to gold. No, I think it's coal, iron, copper, gold, emerald, lapis, and diamond, I believe, currently. I have these things written down, but I can give you a top-down view of this. It's actually crazy how many people have been there to get 25 check-ins. I didn't think I would complete the first circle, but we have started on a magenta circle. It will take a very, very long time, but my hope is once we go to purple to magenta, we'll go to pink and then follow the rest of the color spectrum. So it's going to be a very colorful end here in a few years, probably. Also, one more thing to mention. As I said, this world has a lot of corruption in it, or I don't know if corruption's the right word, but there's a lot of weird things that happen here because of how many platforms the world has been on and how it's moved through. If we look at the F3 screen here, you'll notice that my biome is a Minecraft ocean. It's very important to remember this because I have to keep this part lit up at all times. Otherwise, you have creepers, you have zombies, skellies, all those overworld mobs here. And we definitely don't want to blow up anybody's check-in plot. I bet you didn't think you'd see a creeper spawning in the end today, did you? But moving right along, this is where the End Shulker District is. This one's gotten a little more popularity over time. We've got Cool Amy's box with a cool border around it. Sarah's Finn's box with a sleeping snow fox, which is just so adorable. Ratty and Ninja Sydney. There's a few more planned here. I'm currently backed up on shulker orders. I've got, I think, 9 shulkers to put into the world currently. These take quite a while. I didn't expect my channel to grow like it did. I had low prices at once. I had to raise them, and it's just been catch up from there, but it's all in good fun. And I almost forgot, I do actually have a Enderman farm here. It's a Nimbon design that's really, really super quick. Even though it looks tiny and ineffective and they're not one-hit kills, you have to swipe them a few times. As far as I know, this is the fastest you can gain XP from Enderman, and it really piles up. If you sit here for 5 minutes, you'll probably be waiting for 10 minutes for all the XP to absorb. So super cool design that takes 30, 45 minutes, maybe at max, and you get all the XP you'll ever need. And that is actually it for the North Tunnel. I say we go clockwise here. This is the South Tunnel, the Purple Tunnel, and on the left we have Miswall reading a nice book. And your first stop is going to be the Farming District. Currently, I'm figuring out the portal situation. I think I'm just gonna have to move my Netherwort farm here, but I've kind of just been placing things where things will go, and I'm gonna worry about paths later. I don't really build massive farms, so if anything needs to be moved, I'm good with that. But over here, I'm slowly working on creating manual farms for all the tree types where I can just have saplings growing. When I need wood, I can chop them down and replant the saplings. And there are also plans for an automatic tree farm, of course. But behind me there is my mob farm. That's the upgraded mob farm I was telling you about. It's the same design, just more layers, and it's pretty quick. It's hooked up to an auto sorter right next to a sugarcane farm. So this is where I get my unlimited rockets from. I also have a clay farm, a wool farm, a concrete converter. On the other side of the wool farm, I have a melon farm. Flying east a little ways, I have a flower farm, and that's currently everything at the farming district. Moving down the tunnel here, this is the tunnel that I've dug the most out of. This is the one I'm trying to get done first because it's the longest one. Our first stop is going to be the Halloween district. Currently, there's nothing built at the Halloween district, but we made sure to make a cool tunnel. I love the color palette of purple and orange, so we actually used orange concrete powder and red sand to make it feel like it's got some sort of wallpaper or something. And the top we use skulk, nether brick, and purple concrete just to make a really cool design. I really enjoy this tunnel. There's not too many colors, not too many variations of blocks, so it wasn't a giant pain to build, but some interesting shapes, and I absolutely love it. So this next place here took me a while to get to, which is why I cut it all out. It is super dangerous, and one of the reasons why I want to get the South Tunnel done first. But this goes to my mining district, and there's something very special here. If we fall straight down, you'll see some crazy stuff down here. This is my mining district, as I said. We really put the mining into mining district. That over there is a failed tunnel bore, but if we fly down here about 1,400 blocks, we'll eventually get to a 17 module tunnel bore. I forget exactly whose design this is. I think it's someone called Borkov or something like that, something similar. It takes 3 ancient debris per module, but trust me, it's the easiest one to build. The only thing you need to worry about is keeping gravel and all gravity blocks completely away from the ancient debris. Otherwise, it'll blow itself up. But it's pretty easy. You just click on the note block. It blows up a layer of deep slate. You walk along here, and you might just find some diamonds. Might as well grab these here. Also, I don't say this enough, but tunnel borers are the best parkour practice because you have to do some crazy maneuvering here a lot of the time. But that's it. We have a tunnel bore here. This is how I get all my diamonds. It saves me so much time than doing regular mining. And it's a good time because I come down here, watch stand-up comedy, and mine about a stack of ore per hour. It's pretty nice. And now for the West Tunnel, the cyan one. This one only has a few things, so it'll be really, really quick. Once you get to the end of the tunnel, you'll go through this portal, which takes you to an open ocean. But up to the top left there is my raid farm. I need to do a little bit of work on the raid farm because it's not so quick, and I know there's a new design out for 1.21.4, but currently, it's my source of totems, which is really, really nice. But to the opposite of that, this is my guardian farm. It's just one of those, I forget who designed it, but it's one of the ones that you cover the monument in soul sand and then it makes the guardians go into the middle there. And to save a little bit of time, if we use free cam, we can go inside the thing. I've got a very, very janky storage with 1,000,000 hoppers. I've got plans to redo this, of course, and I actually have a second set of villagers over here so I can quickly trade the cod in for emeralds. At this point, there's very few things to really show you. All that's left is the nether roof here. You can see evidence of me trying to break bedrock in various different ways. I'm not very good at breaking bedrock, but I eventually want to clear this hole out here. Just this way, I have a mega piglin barter trade farm, which gets me all of my gravel for shulker boxes because that requires a ton of concrete. It also gives me quartz and other blocks that are really, really useful. Opposite of this is my froglight farm. And again, I don't know who designed this one, but I did use a design. It's really, really simple. It took me about 45 minutes to build. And this over here, we've all seen one of these. It's your standard donut gold farm. There's a better gold farm that I want to build very, very soon in the future. I actually have another one of the design built, but I've got to update it. So I'm going to show you guys when I update it. But down below, I have a very janky auto crafting setup. I'm going to try to compact this very soon, but it does convert the nuggets into ingots. If there's an ingot that's dropped, it gets bypassed and goes into this auto crafter, which crafts it all into gold blocks. So it's very, very simple. But with that, unfortunately, is the end of the tour. I don't have very much else to show you. The other things that I would show you are just some messes I've left around. So if you are just seeing this world for the first time, or if you are a fan of my Twitch streams and you came over here from that, or if you're just watching on YouTube because you watch my other Paper Hats vids, thank you so much for making it to this point, looking at this world. It's been a big part of my life. This isn't even the world I learned to play Minecraft on. I actually learned to beat the game and play the in-game stuff on Paper Hats. Like I said, it took me about 7 years to find my first diamond here. It's just always been the world where I play how I want. I chill out on, even off camera. I play this world a ton off camera. It's just my main world that I love to play. It's my favorite world I've ever had, and I hope to have it for at least another 11 years. Who knows? We'll see how Minecraft's doing by then. But guys, thank you so much for being here. If you haven't subscribed already, please do hit that button, and I will see you guys for the next one. Thank you so much for watching.